I think I'll go to a faster.
Okay, you're live.
Okay, welcome, folks. This is House Corrections and Institutions Committee. It's Thursday, January 15th. It's a little bit after 4 o'clock. We're just going to have a committee discussion in terms of trying to tie up loose ends. And also, I want the committee to kind of give some direction on what their thoughts are on a couple of issues so it can help us on scheduling. The first thing I want to figure out, what do we want to do with our Fridays in terms of working in the afternoon? We don't have anything scheduled tomorrow, which I'm fine with. But once the capital bill comes out next week, we're going to have to start working. So I don't want to work late on Friday afternoons. I'll put that right out.
In the past, we have worked through lunch and we're done by 1 or 1:30. But I don't know if that's good for everyone.
Sounds good to me.
Friday, yeah,
I
absolutely.
think everyone's
Fine.
gonna be,
Yep,
get your back on that.
But you said work through, sometimes we've taken lunch, a half-hour lunch and come back. Do folks have commitments at noon, the 12 o'clock on Friday?
Not on Friday.
no,
So we could take a half-hour lunch on Friday, come back at 12:30 and be done by 1:32 at the latest.
That's great.
Is that would be a week from tomorrow?
Yeah, because
Tomorrow, we don't have any.
we had some things scheduled with Agatha and kicked her in this afternoon because we had an opening. So does that work for folks? I don't want to work here
Yeah.
late on
I think-
Fridays.
Let's keep it to, and again, you don't have to go by me, it's the committee, but to the 1:30, just working through. If there are things that come up, maybe change to what you were saying,
You're saying work through lunch?
work through lunch.
And just.
It's always-
In the cafeteria,
But
but
it always seems that once we split up, it's hard getting out, it's hard, right, that's
no, but for some of us that need to eat before we go home, the cafeteria will be pretty well closed up
Well-
by 1:30.
could we not do a working lunch where people just bring it? Well, I know.
That's
because they don't eat
tough.
during the
Or you can even do,
I know.
you could even do like an 11:30 lunch, so you're getting there before there's a line.
Yes,
Well,
that
that's
would
not
be
gonna say
great.
half an hour, 11:30.
That'd be fine.
So we can flash.
11:30 to 12,
The people get-
I like that idea. You
Right,
do
so do I.
11:30 lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're back in here,
At noon.
eat quick,
Yeah.
12,
well, yes.
and then wherever.
And you're getting ahead of the Mongol horde.
That's,
Yeah.
good job, Joe.
Okay.
The idea.
So we'll do that starting next week.
Contribution for the day.
I'm
line for this.
Capital bill next week.
Important stuff.
So we got that. So today, Kevin and Sean sat down with Trevor. Can you report, that's dealing with Gina with BGS, so who's that guy? That is almost $8 million request for WellPAC. Did you folks figure out all those moving pieces?
I think we got a pretty good handle on it.
So what is it?
Combination of invoicing that came in towards the end of the year and didn't get processed.
So that
In
would be
addition-
the $3 million?
Yeah, he didn't have specific numbers, but yeah, to that order of magnitude. And the systems have not been fully debugged, so there were
What's
late
this?
entries.
The IT system?
Yep,
Correct.
which caused it to be not available to pay last year or calendar year, and that's why it's popping up now.
So is it the DOC IT system or is it WellPath?
It's the automatic system, the automated system that there's a learning curve on it, he said.
I don't understand.
Is it the
That's a
automated
specific
billing
issue that, but he wasn't.
I think so.
That's how you're saying that.
Was it the automated billing system?
I hand myself, man.
I heard.
He didn't get into specifics.
He had a specific name, but he said the systems have been still working the bugs out, and that's why it was delayed.
I'd like to know what system we're talking about. I
Well,
wonder, is it the
He's
IT
also
or is
getting
it-
clarification on that too, because he doesn't have it yet.
You mean he by Trevor?
Trevor and the Probst doesn't have that yet, so he's waiting to hear back. So we will get updated from him.
Which still seems very vague to me, so I would like to know.
Yeah, I know.
What system are we talking about? Is it the IT system on DOC's side? Is the IT system on WellPath, or is it a new system of submitting invoices in general?
Yeah, he wasn't specific. He just said that they didn't get paid last year. They were expected. And therefore, that's
So they're not but they're paying their employees
True.
because it's paying staff, well past staff. So they're paying them, so they're filling a hole? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, so
What it sounds like, yeah.
in the testimony we saw, and it was not you, the per head cost went up about 6.4% from year 2 to year 3. We're in year 3 right now. So
Yeah, I see, I know where you're headed, but I got some
Well-
information from,
you plug in the headcount change, and does it account for the $8 million or not?
No, it totally does. And that was the second thing we talked to him about was the 4,550,000 was well past staffing contract and the amendment to the increase in population over 1525.
and that accounted for the whole
Let me,
increase.
Correct.
let me restate.
That's what they said.
Yeah, but you gotta get into a deeper.
What
did
was the
George say?
original
What did
contract
George
amount?
Say about that.
He said it was, he told us that it was due to the extra people.
No, it's the,
If,
go ahead.
I mean,
sorry.
the concern that the chair of appropriations had, she could not fathom, just there's like 250 more people in the system. Why is it costing $4 million more? So we get back to the average daily population numbers.
which we got a murky answer on.
Well, I pulled out, I happen to go to my folder. And I pulled out testimony that we received in 24. Just a year ago,
Last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago. And where is our data that we got today? Right, this is the data we got today.
Yep.
So if you folks have this in front of you, this is what I find so interesting. This is the 25th of January, 2024, from the Director of DOC. It's Tibia's, whatever her, Aviva. She's now in this position. So it was Max Titus. So this is what they projected. For year one, cost would be 34 million. This was 33.8. Year two was 38 million. This is 37 million. Year three was 40 million. This is 39 million. They were basing this on a per member per month cost of year one, $2,253. Year two, $2,476. And year three, $2,630. This is 2 years ago.
Same exact number.
The same exact numbers. Now, they were using, it was based on a 1,250 population. Now, I don't know if that was based on their average daily population, but that's the number they're using now is 1,250 for their average daily population. So these numbers track.
Right.
And this was done in 2024 in
So-
testimony before us. So the numbers track. So if they knew that it was going to be almost 40 million, why is there a $4 million increase in BAA? Is it that they weren't fully funded to begin with?
Yeah.
The contract was written at 1,250 average population.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it was, this one, my notes is based on 1,250 population for the per member per month.
And what was our actual population for this fiscal year?
The average daily population is not the same as the actual population. We are right now at 1,500. We're not at, that doesn't calculate the actual number of folks. It's more of an average of a month. There's a lot of people that come and go.
Yes, and the testimony was that our billing is based on the average daily population, not the total population.
Right.
The average daily population.
Which is lower than what your
Yes.
actual population.
So 12, but the contract was written in average daily population.
In the
1,250.
Right, and the notes that I have from 24, when they testified, their per member per month was 1250 population. So it's the exact same numbers they gave us today. And they knew this in 24. So why are they asking for a $4 million increase halfway through FY 26?
And explaining the part of the increase is because of the per head increase that was in the contract is dishonest. Because everybody knew that number in the and it would have been built into the budget, right?
Right here.
Precisely. So you're talking about 8/4, basically, so that's 20%. That's
So is
20% increase.
So is it that when the budget was coming in the last 2 fiscal years, they didn't fully fund what they had?
I gotta say, that.
Needed?
That's what it sounds like.
So we've got to get our arms around this or it's going to keep
Was
snowballing.
any of that presented to Trevor?
Well, Trevor, yeah, we talked to him about that and he told us the per member per month is not 2636, but it's now 2450.
Well, she
Oh.
said it was lower, but that's what they just presented to us.
Well, that's what he said to us as well, that it's
So if it's
really,
lower,
yep.
she said, but it was offset by a higher number of your average daily population.
The way I understood it was a delay in invoicing. The invoices weren't paid last year. They're now being paid. They underspent last year.
But that's for staffing. But this
He
is,
didn't get specific
Yeah.
on what it was, but he's saying it's not new money. It's old money that had not been paid out because of the systems errors and delayed invoice. There was nothing surprising.
He did not seem surprised at all.
Timing is what he was saying.
but that was for the 3 million. Does that also play into that additional 4 million? Because that's for something else.
And we've got to
It's
get,
different things.
No, I understand that.
So who can we gotta really get down into this.
He did not, I mean, he explained both the 3 million and the 4.
isn't this basic accounting that
Yeah.
this has to be somewhere where it shows how we got to the $3 or the $4 million? And what exact numbers?
Well-
Can't just throw out.
Well, she said it today. Haley said
Oh, Haley.
she could explain more of it as she was walking out the door.
Yeah, but then we've got to get them in here to do that.
So we've
But
got
I'm
to
saying
connect
it's
with
past,
Haley.
that's for the increase in population.
Aviva, I always have trouble with Aviva.
If it was built, it,
We could get her back in because she's really the finance or a finance person.
You don't need
He admitted, he asked questions. He needs answers.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Trevor,
Okay.
but the chair of.
Know what this is.
The dig deeper. into
benefits within
This is a-
ballpark.
I mean,
$1 million request.
Yeah.
BAA.
Well, you had said, we gotta ask Wellpath and
That's correct.
DOC.
But it's like with the food and other things in the facility, there's fixed costs that are already baked into it. And a lot of this, I feel like WellPath already has fixed costs and the fact that people are.
Yeah, but show us on paper, what exactly are you
The
doing?
medicines, the
Yeah, I
procedures.
just find the numbers
scans.
that were given 2 years ago, the exact same
Exactly,
numbers that was.
It's not
testified
possible,
to
it's
us.
not possible.
Yeah.
I've got my notes open from that same day, Max Titus, January 25th, 24. I don't have detailed notes on this, but they were talking about potential damages, contracted monthly liquidated damages. Then there's a mention of holdbacks, that they can hold back 5% of each invoice.
Just use.
I don't
Would
know.
that be the staffing one or is
Yeah.
it paying for?
What did you say?
What can they hold it back?
Holdback.
Holdbacks could be instituted on each invoice of 5%, but that doesn't seem like that would tally up to and I don't have great notes
Sounds like they're
here.
taking their. cut.
5% of 40 million,
I'm sorry.
2 million.
Well, let's reach out to Haley and say, we need a budget business person to come in and we need to do that next week. So we may have to bump something.
We also have to have an understanding of what
It's,
computer system is going supposedly not working. I mean, this is,
you took a picture of that. Can you show Tate so he knows it's in the appropriations, their budget adjustment for the state budget for FY
This is-
26.
this is basic
It's not
accounting.
connected to our BAA. And there's 2 items there. Can you send that to
I can say
Yeah.
Send it to Tate.
And then we also talked about the 225,000 hotel stays for DCS.
Yeah,
And he says, oh yeah, when they're working double 18-hour or 16-hour shifts, then they're gonna, rather than driving home, they're gonna stay in a hotel. So that was another one. Of course.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, but it was also, he thought it was sheriffs and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So it was the sheriffs.
They'll come out of their
If
budget.
they're going down, they're driving from Brattleboro and they're going up to Northwest Facility to pick somebody up and going back down and they've got to stop. They can't drive again.
But shouldn't that come out of the sheriff's
Well-
budget because they contract?
When there's certain responsibilities in the state constitution that sheriffs have to do, and therefore the state reimburses for that.
Correct.
That's why they have to pay off.
And 220.
That's. It's like,
well, we're gonna need more information
Yeah,
on
we
the
need-
budget stuff.
Yeah.
That's an $8 million ask.
we do.
Yeah.
We politely squeezed him as hard as we could.
Yes.
Yeah, well, now
And he
we-
wasn't willing to give us much.
okay, so now we really need to go to DOC, but we have more background than we did,
Okay.
so that works. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, and I know I've alluded to this, but BGS dropped this off.
Mhm.
And yesterday,
Yeah.
Tuesday, anyway, the beginning of this week. One copy for the committee, anybody that wants to look at it.
The contingent to age 50.
But this is the note that came from Wanda. As promised last session, BGS would expand our space book to include all inventory of state-owned buildings and land owned by other agencies. I hope this is beneficial for your discussion on H50.
We bring those UFOs on to their
If
space.
you are considering more reporting on what is no longer needed, please have the agency departments that are responsible for the property be the entities that report on that component. I look forward to discuss. We'll let her know what we're doing with H50 once we hear back from John. I have a thought on something.
So is that right behind your desk, Alice? Is that where it's gonna live?
I live in the middle.
Okay.
Did you ever check?
I'm talking with after the sportsman's caucus tonight.
Okay, space needs, because we really need to.
Yeah, it's the space at the Waterbury comp, or the rented space in Waterbury, right, that we're spending the 385 on.
Yeah, and others, there may be, don't know if there's renovations occurring in any of the current facilities. I don't believe so. I
Okay.
think, read Digger, it's in Digger,
Yeah, no, I got the Digger article.
it's
Yeah.
like 368,000.
Yeah.
I read it in Digger. So for the main budget, when the governor's budget comes out next week, James and I, the chairs and vice chairs had a meeting noon with all the chairs and vice chairs had a meeting with the chair and vice chair of appropriations to go over, they're trying to really approach the formulation of the budget in a different way. They sent out a letter, Appropriations Committee sent out a letter. I have a copy of it. They're gonna send us these documents electronically, and then I'll share it when I get it, I'll share it with everyone in the committee, so we don't have it yet. They want different types of questions to be asked when the agencies are putting their budget together and presenting it to appropriations committees, instead of just showing your highs and lows. You know, when they come in here, they say, oh, this amount increased, this amount decreased. You don't have no basis to find out what it's all about. So they sent out this memo to all the agencies and departments in terms of the presentation that they're asking these agencies and departments to give to Appropriations Committee. And it's type of organizational overview, your prior year accomplishments, your statutory and legislative requirements, your new funding requests, and new language requests.
Isn't that somewhat what we wanted to put into our language last year? We talked about having a more robust come back from what they
more
were.
robust information. Well, that leads into where I'm headed here. So they sent this out to all agencies and departments when they're formulating the documents they're going to be presenting to House Appropriations.
What date was this?
October.
Oh, so months ago. Okay.
Okay, so as a follow-up to that, they really wanted to work with standing committees when we look at our respective budgets in terms of what questions really need to be asked. To do a deeper dive into really finding out, is this program really needed? Is this program effective? Why are you doing this program? And Robin said, if they come in and just present their ups and downs, stop them right there. Stop them right there.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, if you look at some of the various presentations we had, some of those probably met that litmus test already. You know, it's like the dry hydrant one probably did.
Oh, no, it's not our bill.
It's not our bill.
It's the big bill.
Oh, for the big bill.
Because we're gonna be looking at BGS requests for general fund dollars.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be looking at DOC. And it's
So-
getting into their operational piece. It's not the capital bill. It is our recommendation to Appropriations Committee on the state budget.
Okay, so it's not like if Joe Age says we need 300 grand for slate. You're not saying which building and how
It's not
much and
us.
why. We don't, no, okay.
It's their operation. Like, are they transferring money from postal and printing to their fee for space program or their fleet program? Or are they pulling money from their fleet program into who knows what else, their maintenance program? It's not our budget. It is the general fund budget, state budget, and we are to look at those areas of government that we have jurisdiction over. So we work with BGS, so it's our operational costs. And we work with DOC, which is our operational costs. So it's a whole different level. So they're coming out with a memorandum in terms of what committees need to ask of the folks who come in terms of your budget. And it's the policy, it's a role for the policy committees. They needed to update some of this, so they're gonna send us an updated policy, an updated summary, and they've been working with JFO on this. So preparing before testimony, the agency needs, or the department needs to build the baseline of understanding the agency. You need current year and prior year budget documents, legislative reports, if there's any. And questions that we should be looking at is you need to understand the agency or department's mission. What does the agency or program do? Why do they exist? And what problem are you trying to solve? And then use your testimony time strategically in terms of focus your discussion on information needed to evaluate the budget requests. Don't spend time on typical annual items such as salary, benefits, or changes in the internal service fund. These budgetary increases aren't necessarily relevant to understanding the broader policy work of that department or agency. So it's really getting into a deeper thing. So, and James and I, when finished, I bounced off a thought that I had with James that when we get this updated memorandum in terms of what committees should really ask for and look to, what I would like, and I'm going to point people, it's the way to do it. I'd like 5 members of this committee to sit down with a memo when it comes through and really go through it and look at those questions that we need to ask of BGS and those questions that we need to ask of DOC. Okay. And then formulate that so that before we bring them in, you folks will share that with the whole committee and we will have that sheet with those questions. Does that make sense to folks?
That's good.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the more it will make sense.
Well, yeah, this will become a template.
Yes,
So here goes.
it's exciting.
Here are the 5 people. And there's thinking behind this.
You're gonna give this template to those who are coming in.
When I get it, I
And then
haven't gotten it yet. They're gonna update it.
We're gonna give it to the testimony.
Oh, we're gonna give it to the committee members to ask.
So we'll be,
Why not give it to them before they come in so they have
No,
an answer?
because it'll be even more telling if they can't answer the questions.
You'll
Yeah,
see,
we need
it'll
it
all
now.
make sense the more you do it. Just,
All right,
Alice is gonna tell you who's on this.
who do you have, Alice?
So I want Mary because she was on appropriations. I want Connor. I want Kevin. I want Brian. And I want Joe.
Joe. What did I do wrong?
Do anything. I looked in terms of people's experience, people's concerns, and people's knowledge.
Sounds good.
Big cheat.
That's what I looked at.
Big cheat.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And when do we start working out this?
As soon as I get clean copy, they had to make some changes on it, so
What do you anticipate?
next day.
You'll have it next
So
week.
then we
Not
should,
next week.
we should meet next week.
It's a next week problem.
Yes, yes.
There's a reason for all of it. I mean, Mary's been on appropes. So I think it's really important to have that appropriation.
Makes sense.
Connor's been around the building for a while. You know, I mean, you want to know more about budgeting. And
I'm just
you're,
ornery.
You're a money guy.
You're the one guy.
That's what we need.
You forgot to step back.
Yeah.
Brian's gonna put it all together.
Oh.
So,
Never show up.
No, I'll take the money for all the clothing I want to buy. I'll be like, I
So
know.
this is to help the committee know what specific
I
questions.
understand.
Once you get that memorandum, and then you think, okay, BGS, these are all the activities that BGS does. And you can sit down with Wanda and find out what are all the things that they do, because it's more than the capital.
Sounds good to me.
And then figure
See,
out
In the best.
what you need. And then DOC, we have a pretty good. We kind of know more of what DOC does than BGS. But, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces there within BGS, I mean, within DOC.
Well, they spent over $200 million, so yes, you know,
And I don't know what the total budget and its operating budget for BGS is.
no. ADOC's like 215 or something like around there.
215,000?
The million,
I don't know.
it's north of 200 million less.
Those are
than
basic
first fiscal year.
questions we should have, I've
Yeah.
been saying for years.
And I'm not sure if this is like the example, one of the many examples we were given. This may be 100% accurate, but just so you like understand, you're looking at the budget in whatever section. And you're looking at, some rudimentary things that we normally ask about the salary and they're like, oh, the salary went up 5% or whatever, and you focus on that. And then, when somebody starts getting curious and all of a sudden they realize like, wait a minute, there's a pilot program in this entity that's been going on for 10 years. It's a pilot program.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
they
be going on
brought
for 10
that up.
years.
One of the
Or,
chairs brought that up.
That kind of thing where something could be very recurring. And so once you start looking at things more closely, and we'll be looking, well, our part is probably fairly small compared to like for human services in general. But when you start looking at the other things, you look at a section at a time and you work your way through it and start trying to find the inefficiencies.
Give us our user's guide, whenever that comes out next week.
Yep.
And I think that really, generally, when you get testimony, when somebody's, you get lied to through omission. So people are gonna give you the information that supports their argument. I don't think they're actually straight up lying to you that often,
No.
but they're intentionally not giving you all the pieces
And in fairness, it's not even
from
always,
various perspectives.
and there's certainly omission, sure. But there's also just cases where people just don't even know.
They're not-
A small part of a budget, maybe people should know every aspect, but somebody in human service, the agency of human services probably doesn't know every single line.
Well,
So-
the other thing is,
Sorry.
a lot of the budgets, some are made using 2 and 3 year old figures. I always have wanted to see what is real time, real day that you're plugging into formulas.
Sure.
Just look at a budget as what you're really doing.
Sure.
And I've asked that several times on other committees that say, well, I'm seeing that these numbers are 2 and 3 years old, so we're in the hole before we've even started.
That may be what happened with WellPath.
Yeah, but
And find out.
And we
Gotta get a hand-
We did that DOC, it was the offender work program.
right, yes.
So,
I don't remember that
so
world
for
last
you
contract.
five,
Yeah, I think another 20 points.
For you five is to work through, when I get that updated memorandum, and I'll send it out to all the committee members anyway, but you're gonna work at that as your basis and develop what questions we as a committee need to ask.
And also if other members, in looking at the document, see something that hits them, come talk to the five of us.
It's a good idea, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
skeptical of that stuff.
So, the
I
other
agree.
thing, Tate has a list of those reports.
Yes.
And we're gonna have to, do you think we have like 15 minutes to go through this tomorrow? Sometime? Because we've got reports.
Sure, we can do
Yeah,
that.
unless there's something just.
Maybe we can work a little bit
Well,
with lunch.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
This is to report to House Gov Ops.
I want to talk about the.
Yeah,
We
no.
want to continue these reports.
Yeah.
So slide that.
So-
Whatever.
The other thing, we've had some testimony on victim notification.
Mhm.
I want to figure out, what are people thinking? Where do we go from here? I've had some brief conversations with Martin Malone. I said, there's the front end stuff to this in terms of law enforcement, state police, state's attorneys, particularly state's attorneys. So that committee needs to get involved with it. We've got the corrections piece. We really put the task force together last year. The testimony seems there's some kumbaya, and then BAMO, DOC comes back in and says, we got a problem. Hallie has sent, or was going to send to Tate, I think, all the statutes that pertain to their what they're required to notify and how and when. She was gonna send a list of everything in statute that pertains to that for DOC. That might be a starting point, that we work with Ledge Council to work through that. I just don't know how to approach this. I mean, it's so,
Well, I thought there was potentially a modification to the report that we received coming forward.
there might be an MOU, but DOC is not gonna sign to that, I don't think. They might.
I have a suggestion, maybe, Mary and Kevin and I meet with Jennifer again and get like a little bit like an overview from her. Cause seems like the
You
one
gotta
the
meet
driving
with
force.
DOC.
Well, we'll meet with them too, but I'd kind of like, it was very helpful to meet with her on our own last year,
What's
with
been
Kevin.
happening in this task force is there's preliminary agreements that have been made, and then DOC unilaterally makes a decision. Like pulling that dedicated
Right.
person. It was, and this all played out. And this all played out during the fall.
Good.
Where the task force was all working towards something. And then a week later, DOC announced that they were letting go of the dedicated person. And we got emails from the state's attorneys and the other folks on that task force really upset. We were heading in one direction and now DOC pulls this person out and didn't even tell us.
That's.
So this stuff has been happening.
Hmm.
We definitely have to extend the task force that way, because, I mean, there is value having them all in the same room together, I think. And
Yeah,
but I don't think it's gonna happen unless we make them do it.
That makes sense, Karen.
yes.
So
Maybe
it's a first course of action.
have a heart to heart with Jen
Set up an-
and then I have a heart to heart with DOC.
Yep. We can the three of us can have a heart to heart with Jen. I don't know if we can have you can have a heart to
You
heart
got
with
to
DOC.
bring
Well,
DOC and talk, you
We've
three.
got a new commissioner. It starts here and we're going to.
Okay, all right. I'm
You
with you.
three are on this topic.
You're a powerful man, Sean.
You can't just
This is
look at
good.
one side and not the other.
Okay.
And what the DOC person said to James in the hallway after the testimony was, we're being asked to stick to statute, but the state's attorneys had nothing in statute that holds them
Mhm.
for the reporting.
Basically. Well, just put all your fingers on the table and speak plain, instead of
Absolutely.
saying one thing and then.
So if you three could meet
Another.
with Jen and you meet with DOC, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I got it.
My understanding of what's going on is there's three groups that are involved. They start out in one and then it goes to another, and then a third, and there's no common database, and they're not talking amongst each other.
Well, that's going to get
So-
to coordinate.
Exactly, but in the absence of a common
They're
database,
not gonna have a common
I
data.
hear you,
Because they're different entities.
And your concerns that.
I hear you. They gotta communicate the key information though from one to the other to the other. And until somebody makes them do that, it ain't gonna happen.
That's our role. So before you leave, Joe, the other big issue was yesterday afternoon,
What happened yesterday afternoon?
with ICE, the testimony of ICE.
Oh, yeah.
That was tough testimony. Now, I know one thing that Regina's looking at is there a way for DOC to have that app in terms of language interpretation?
Right.
And my biggest concern right now is the weaponization of space.
The DOC should be given an opportunity to respond too.
They will, yeah, and
Certainly.
that's what I wanted to put out on the table. I've let Haley know about, we gotta get, they were watching it on YouTube. DOC was watching it yesterday on YouTube. And I said to Haley today when she came in, we're gonna have to hear from DOC.
Yeah, I could talk about this for an hour.
And I said, I want to know how how these decisions are being made. Is it internally within DOC or is it coming from a fifth? floor?
It's fair.
There was some heavy stuff thrown down, you know, if you're not
Heavy
giving
stuff.
people equal access to justice, you know. I mean,
Right.
DOC needs to explain that if
Well,
it's true. yeah.
Wellpath was concerned about it as well.
Right.
Well, it's, if you, it makes it really hard to provide service to somebody. So is, you know, Joyce Judy and so on and so forth. That's throughout the whole thing. That, no, hers was not ICE. Hers was
CCV.
out of state,
Oh,
state
education.
contract stuff. That's, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong pew on that one.
So we'll have to have more conversations on that, but we've really got to schedule DOC.
Yes, absolutely.
This-
But you would think if they could fix the language thing, that seems like like if there could be an exception made for technology.
Gina's on.
Was a lawyer for.
Oh, and I know the
ACLU.
first one was.
Yeah, she's all over it.
Is the camera still on?
Lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's Executive director. of
I had a
Silence.
story about language thing. But it's,
You don't want to do that. on YouTube.
Immigration.
Or no.
French.
So that's what I
Yes.
had. That's what I had, folks. I just
Definitely
wanted us to
immigration.
kind of get some directions here. But those are the issues that I had that we really need to spend time.
And the budget stuff actually is an opportunity for us to address some things like the parole board and the separation. That's the stuff we can dig into with that format. It's good.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back here tomorrow after the floor.
Okay, just.
Okey dokey.
all right.
Thank you
Okey-dokey.
all.
See you, Joe.
We can go off of YouTube.
Okay, thank you, Tate.
Thank you.
You wanna look at this quick?